Hello, and welcome to another game development broadcast for Project CSK. As usual, of course, I am the creator of the project, and the online name that I go by is Des. We're going to continue working on the project like we have been doing, and the idea with these broadcasts, of course, is to give you guys a behind-the-scenes look of what goes on in terms of what am I working on, what are the challenges, and there's always an abundance of challenges, and just other stuff in general, and it's a two-way communication, so if you have questions, you're welcome to ask. If there's something that you want to point out to me that I don't know, you're welcome to ask. I'm not an expert by any means. I do this for fun. I do this as a hobby, and I do this to learn, and I do this to share it with you guys too. And then later on, down the line, we'll be able to play together online, which makes it even more fun, in my opinion. But the idea with the project is it's not necessarily to just, how can I put it? It's to have fun and show that development can be fun. It's educational, of course. There's challenges. There's all kinds of obstacles. There's a learning curve. And I'm new to Unity, fairly new, I would say. I'm between, I would say, junior to intermediate on some areas, more in some, less in others, let's be honest. But there's always challenges. Like, for example, I recently found out, and I mean very recently, the other day I found out that Unity, I'm using the latest version that's available right now, which is the 2022.1.10 F1. It can crash so severe that it corrupts and damages your project files. Yeah, that actually happened to me. That was a surprise. I mean, Unity's been crashing left, right, and center periodically, sure, but never that bad, right? And then it was so bad that I actually had to go back and recover those files that were damaged from previous version. Of course, it all worked out in the end, but I had no idea it could crash that hard. So these are all learning things that we learn. Unity, of course, is not perfect by any means, and it's not going to be, but it's a really good platform. I've had a lot of fun learning it and just kind of experimenting with it. It definitely has a steep learning curve. I mean, it's pretty easy to get into initially, right? But if you want to get into the more complex stuff, it's pretty steep learning curve, like a lot of development is, depending on what you want to do. But once you overcome those kind of hurdles, you start to kind of build up a certain rhythm, a foundation of knowledge, which will allow you to propel even higher and farther to be able to make more cool stuff and do the things that you really want to do that's appropriate for your project, of course. For me, specifically, I want to learn. Right? And this is an opportunity for me to learn. I don't get to utilize this skill set in my normal day-to-day life. It's something that I do like to learn. I'm always interested in technology because technology is the future, and this is a part of it. Entertainment, it kind of goes hand in hand with technology because the technology that's made for entertainment sometimes is on the bleeding edge and is on the front end of everything that's being developed because entertainment is quite valuable, and that helps push forward other types of technologies that benefit and leverage the similar tools, hardware, techniques, solutions, whatever it may be, right? So there's a lot of advantages to it, and I like it. I like the fact that I understand programming. It's something that I was always curious about when I was very young and never really had the opportunity to pursue it. I mean, back then there was no internet. There was no computers. Nobody had a computer. The closest thing to a computer was a calculator. That's about the closest thing you had to a computer back in the day. Right? And then, of course, gaming and whatnot became a lot more popular. Back then, of course, there was arcades, like coin arcades. That was really popular and fun. I do miss those days. But then eventually, that transitioned into consoles. The Atari, the Nintendo, the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, and all of these consoles that came after it. And then entertainment, that kind of video game entertainment, become a standard household name, and everybody started having one. And then computers also became more and more common just because you used it. And this thing called the internet came out, which was pretty revolutionary, I think, or at least I'd like to think so. But the idea is that there's so many different things you can do, and you get to explore whatever it is that you're interested in learning, right? This is one of those things that I'm interested in learning, and it's something that I enjoy sharing with you guys that watch live periodically from time to time, and for those of you who watch afterward on YouTube. And it's also archived onto YouTube. So then if you want to watch like a previous broadcast, because I get asked the questions of how did you do this, or was this easy to do, or what's involved in doing something like this, right? Then I can just point you to the videos and say, this is how you do it, or at least this is how I did it, right? So anyway, that's kind of the idea. But so I was working on it over the weekend. I had some time to work on the project, and I made some good progress. There was definitely some challenges I needed to address. One of them was the inputs. Because of the way that I implemented it, because of challenges with Unity, because you can't, like, one game object can't take focus. So a selectable object cannot take focus through the Unity engine event system, and then immediately within that same frame, send the focus to another object. Unity event system crashes at that point. It needs at least till end of frame, that specific frame, to be ready to shift that focus onto the next object. So I had to build an entire system around that. Because I built that system, the functionality that I needed to build around that system, right? And then the other functionality that I didn't think about now needed to be built around that system. And then I had to go in multiple layers deep to solve complications that I didn't foresee initially, right? All of it because of one tiny little detail, I know. But anyway, so what happened was that you couldn't shift focus between the UI to your game character to something else without game objects fighting for control, right? And sometimes you would end up controlling both the UI and your game character at the same time, which is of course undesirable, right? So I had to implement a solution for that, and it's not completed, but it's kind of functioning. And then once I got that working, then I did a build for my Android tablet. It's not a powerful tablet by any means, but I'm very pleased to say that. So I tested this, and I got 60 frames per second, like just solid 60 frames per second. That was pretty cool. I like that. And I haven't even done any optimizing. However, one thing that did stand out is that for some reason, when using a controller, right, not the D-pad, but when using the analog stick, like the left analog stick, the FPS just tanks. And I don't know why. That's something I need to look into, because there should be no performance difference. It should not take more system resources to use an analog stick than it does to use a directional pad on a controller or mouse and keyboard. I don't know what's going on there, but obviously it's something that I think I did. So that's something I'll need to look into. But right now, let's jump into it and just kind of see where we're at. And then we'll continue right from that point. So right now, if we go to, okay, so we got our game room. The way that it works right now is if I press the escape button, the menu comes up. So on a keyboard, it's the escape button. On a gamepad, of course, it's the start button. It will bring up, expand, and collapse it. So the cool thing now is that, so when I expand it and I'm moving the directional or providing directional input, my character is not moving, right? And then if I collapse it, right, now the focus is on the character, and the character can move. I know you think it's really simple, but it's actually, with the amount of functionality that I built already, building this, I kind of wish I would have done it earlier. I didn't foresee the challenges back then, but now it's working. And every time you bring up the menu, right, the character stops moving and stops taking input. There's still, of course, stuff I need to fix, like the finger pointer stays in whatever position it was in before from your last UI selection. So that's something obviously that needs to be fixed. But let's jump into the game room though. And there were some crashes too, some weird ones, including that main one that I mentioned, that Unity just decided to go MI6 and destroy itself after it crashed. I don't know why, but it just kind of happened. So we will, and the particle effects looks really good too. I tested it on an Android tablet, and it looks pretty good in terms of particle system and all the other stuff that it does. It's pretty good. This is where I kind of got it to before, is just to be able to move around, explode some stuff, pick up some items, and the explosions look pretty good. There's still some bugs with it, and in terms of some weird stuff that happens, but you can see like that one there, that weird glitch. Those are things that I want to fix, and I will fix them eventually, just not a high priority right now. But as I pick up more power-ups, my explosions get bigger, and that's another glitch right there, is that the bomb disappeared that I placed when I placed the new one. I'm not sure what's going on there, but so that's something else. But it's looking pretty good. So, and then there's KO of one character being knocked out, and then another one being knocked out. And then I'm not supposed to be able to move at this point, of course, or pick stuff up. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. So what I'd like to do is kind of look over some of the UI stuff that I did. And then the other thing I want to do is look at the controller, or look into being able to use the pickup items. Because right now, the usable pickup items that you get, you can't use them. Like right now, that popsicle that I got, you can't use it. There's nothing that you can do to use it, right? I mean, of course, the functionality exists, but I mean, it just needs to be properly implemented. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my game controller, and then we'll kind of continue from there. I think maybe I'll start with the usable items, and then we'll go from there. So just bear with me for a sec. And the controller that I'm using is the Xbox 360 controller. It's a really good controller. I like it. I'm actually starting to enjoy it more than my PS3 controller, and partly because of the directional pad. It's superior in my opinion. Otherwise, I would say they're pretty much on par. Like, they have some minor little nuances in terms of differences and whatnot, but the Xbox controller, the directional pad, just because it's a solid object, whereas on the PS3 controller, the directional pad, it kind of, it's like 4 buttons, right? It's not a solid object, right? So you can't just, I don't know, at least I feel like the controlling is better in terms of wanting to do stuff, and just like the tactile feel, I guess, as well as just how it feels to hold, and just the pad just feels better in my opinion. Okay. Okay, so that is controller connected, and we're moving. Okay, so I'm using the D-pad. Watch the FPS. So the FPS right now is hovering between 57 and 60, right? And then here's what happens when I use the analog stick. Look at that. So it all of a sudden drops down to about 45-ish, right? It's a huge difference, right? That makes no sense to me, and it's even more noticeable on my Android device, just because it doesn't have the same kind of power in terms of its strength and capabilities. So it's way more noticeable. And it's, I don't know, but that's something we'll look at. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to be able to use these pickup items. So we'll start there and then just keep going from there. I think this should be fairly trivial to implement. At least I think so. Watch me. 5 hours later. Oh, I almost got it. I almost got it. Okay, I just want to make sure that it is actually not working. So let's grab a pickup item and try to use it. And then, of course, I haven't tested the touchscreen controls. Oh, I did use it. So if I stand here and I drop it. Oh, okay. So it is working. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. So when I pick it up and use one, I keep getting the same one. Okay, so watch to my right on the flash one. If you see to the right of me, and I go and press this button, that gray block comes down. But in the Unity client, it doesn't do anything. So let's have a look at that and see what's going on there. And we'll go right to the very bottom. Maybe not that far. Okay, we'll take that out. We'll take out Event Manager. We'll take out Game Engine, I think. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, let's go with, I want to see SFS. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're missing any packets. Okay, so we're not missing anything. So then what's going on? Okay. Let's have a look at the code. And we'll go from where we place or when we receive the block usage. So I believe it was block. Nope. Add destroyable block. Oh, is that it? I think that might be it. Yeah, so it would be add destroyable blocks. So GADB and then shield. Nope, not that one. Shield activated, shield deactivated, and then round end stats. Nope, not that one. What am I talking about? So what we want is add destroyable block, shield activate, deactivate, and then there's another one that's popsicle. Where's the popsicle one? I don't see it. I see this one, but that's not it. What I'm looking for specifically is the usage of the popsicle. Oh, there we go. Popsicle add. Why is it all the way up there? Okay, so we've got popsicle add and popsicle explode. And then we have frozen and defrosted and all that stuff. We'll get to that. We will get to that. But for right now, what I want to do is, yeah, let's go with block first. Is kind of what I'm thinking. So let's follow this logic. Okay, Shift F12, and we'll see where it comes in. Okay, so game room, perfect. So it kind of already exists, even though it's not fully implemented. There we go. Add destroyable block, and then nothing. And that's okay. So that gives us a pretty good starting point. So that means over here, when I was using it, it was outputting something. We should have been seeing row column type. There it is. Okay. So let's make this stand out a little bit more. So we'll say string out equals, right? We'll take the contents out of here, put it into here, and then we'll do a generic functions format text color. Oops. Putting our string out, and then let's color it. Generic functions, and we'll say color, let's go with green, just so it kind of pops out. Okay, so it's going to come in and it's going to give us row, column, and then type. Okay. Okay, so how do we make this work? We need to translate row and column to a vector 3 position. Let's see, how did we do it here on the tile map? Where is tile map? Create environment object. Okay, so we instantiate it. In this case, we'll be using the object pool system, of course. Name it, all of that stuff. Okay, so it looks like we will... How can we do this? We already have the functionality to a degree. So let's put a bookmark here. Actually, let's clear our bookmarks first. Do you want to clear? Yes. Okay. That stuff is all legacy. Okay, so what I want to do then is I want to... How can we do this? I want to see how I did the other stuff. Where's the other stuff where we built the level? That'll help us understand. Okay, add indestructible pillar, add indestructible, create destroyable right here. Okay, so let's jump to our bookmark. So I wonder if we can just pass that in and have it work. We'll see. We will see. So what we want to do is we want to pass in, I don't know if it's row first or column first, but let's take a guess. So row, column, and then type. Let's see what happens. I want to just see what happens. Let's do that. Whether it works or not is irrelevant. I just want to see what happens at that point, because we still need to do the transitional animation. I want to do like a nice little appearance thing and probably add a particle effect of some sort, right? I want to make it look pretty good. So we'll do like this bounce jiggle thing. But we'll get to those aesthetics in a little bit. I want to get the core functionality of it first. And what it needs to do is be able to be placed. If you're within it, you can walk through it. But then the secondary trigger collider, it checks if you're outside of it, it activates. But if you're inside of it and you walk outside of it, it activates the collider. So then you can no longer walk through it. So if you start off inside of it, you can walk any direction you want. But as soon as you exit the collider of it, you can no longer pass through it. That's kind of the idea. So let's see how that works. Grab my controller. So let's see how that works. Okay, so we need to get a block. Oh, there we go, right there. So if I press one, what happened? Nothing happened. It doesn't look like it crashed. At least I don't think it did. We did get the output, right? So we got row, column, type. But then let's have a look at this and see, what is this telling us? It did crash, okay. Key has already been added. 260. Okay, I think I got the row columns mixed up. Let's go the other way. Let's go column, row. Yeah, let's try that. Let's see how this works. So we'll go log in. What is that? What is that weird white texture thing? Huh. Wait, is that our block? I think that's our block right there. Oh, no match found. Wait, what? How? That graphic should be there. Okay, let's go look at our sprite sheet, our atlas and resources and whatnot. So environment, I think it was this one. Sprite editor. What it's telling me is that block S4 did not exist. So quadruple 0 cube underscore block underscore S underscore 4. It's right there, like literally right there. How did you not find it? No match found for object file name. Interesting. Very, very interesting. What is that output? Oh, okay. I got it. Yeah, it's my bad. So what I need to add is I need to just take one of these. Because it's, like I said, it is nowhere near completed, right? We just need a number 4 in here. All of this stuff, of course, will get relocated later. Right now, it's just this huge switch statement for all the environment objects that I have. I will, of course, move them to a more appropriate location later and restructure it and whatnot. But so this should now get us results. So we should have the gray block at this time. I might even move that to a an XML or something, just so it's easily editable, because that information has to come from somewhere, right? It has to be stored somewhere. So it's either going to be an XML or a JSON or something along those lines. But okay, so let's try this again. Let's end this round, because I want to be the one to place the block with my character. So let's give it a try and see what happens. Okay, so we're looking for hunt for a block, a usable item. Nope. 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 Shield. See, the first one disappeared. The second one was there, so that's not correct. You guys don't quite see that. Let me do. How else can I do that? Okay. Let's try this. Yeah, that seems good enough. Okay, so what I want is, we're looking for a gray block, a usable item. Nothing. Wow. Okay. Really? Not a single one. Okay. We'll just wait a couple more seconds for the free power-ups and see what we get. There should be one. There we go. Okay, so let's see what happens when I go to use it. There we go. Okay, so it exists now, but because of the functionality that we want from it, we need to be able to oh, now we get them, of course. So let's see, can I make it? Yeah, so that blocked me. That blocked me. Yeah, see, it pushed me out. You're supposed to be able to walk through it. Oh, I ran out. Okay, so that's what we need. The other object that has the exact same functionality as that is the explosive bomb that we placed down, which we will leverage the functionality from that to add it on to this object, and then maybe do a little bit of aesthetics. I don't know. We'll see. Let's get it working first, and then we'll figure out the aesthetics of it afterward. So what we want to do then is go to the explosive. Okay. So this is our explosive that has that functionality, and it was a specific class called, what exactly was it called? Yeah, this thing right here. So we need to bring this into it. So we need to bring this into the other object. So let's go and copy this, and we'll go into the other one, which was, I think, the standard environment object. Yeah, this looks like it. Oh, it does have it. Huh. Okay. So it has that there, and oh, yeah, collider's not in the right place. Is anything using it? I don't think it is. Either way, we need to, let's have a look at the other one again. Yeah, let's look at the other one again. Where's the foldering? Why isn't this clearing? Clear search. It's kind of locked. Okay. That was kind of weird. Okay. So what we want to do is go into prefabs, environment 2.5D. Okay, so there's our objects. So we want to take that functionality from the explosive object and put it into the dynamic object. That's going to be potentially a bit tricky. I'm not sure how I structured them, but we'll figure it out either way. Okay, so let's look at the one that does have it, which is the explosive. So we clearly nested the colliders here. Do any of the others have colliders? No, they don't. It's also a bit restrictive, is it not? So this one's collider is here. I kind of like the collider being on the main object. That way we could maybe add physics and whatnot to it later on if we wanted to, like a rigid body, and be able to do other things with it. But for right now, it's not that important. So we just need to know that the collider is in this area here and not up here. Does it make a difference? I don't know if it does make a difference. Let's go back to our dynamic object. Okay. So we got that one there, and then we got this one kind of sitting here. So let's move that into this nesting. Okay. So we have the, we have the trigger on the outside and we have the collider nested. Is that how we did the other one? I don't remember. So let's look at it. Dynamic, actually it was designed differently. I keep going to the wrong one. So the parent has no colliders, and then both of them are nested inwards. Okay. I'm actually somewhat inclined to just see, is there a case where we would want to move them? Yes, there is potentially later on when we get into the dungeon system, but that's much, much, much farther away. I don't think I can foresee the functionality that I would need then and be able to properly implement it now. So then right now, what we need is a working solution that is just versatile and we can modify it later when we need it to. I think that makes more sense. So let's go with that mindset. Let's leave this as is and just make it work. So then the question, of course, comes up is how does it work though? So we'll go to our explosive object and we will go to our main class. Okay, so this environment shockwave, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so none of the logic is in here. So that means the logic is entirely inside of the collider pass-through inhibit. Yeah, I would say this has all the logic. Okay. So we will kind of leave this for now. Let's make sure that the other one is structured correctly, or at least in a way that we can kind of use it. Okay, so references look good. Yeah, I would say it looks good. It's just a matter of using it, really. So this one is the collider and this one is the trigger. It should really be the other way around. Why is the trigger out here? The trigger should be nested inward. Why does this need the trigger? Because I don't think we're using anything like on trigger or anything in here. So it should be safe for me to, yeah, I don't see anything. So what we'll do then is we'll switch them up. We'll make this one the trigger. Yeah, we'll make this one the trigger. And we'll make this one not the trigger. I wonder if that breaks anything though. So we will need to test it, but we'll get into that. We'll get into it. So what I want to do then is when we place the object in the, not that. I'm just going to close some of this stuff just to clear it up a bit. Joystick, nope. That I'll leave up actually. Okay, so when we go and we create it, what happens at this point? Is obstruction is true? Yes. So let's bookmark that and then have a look at the explosive and see how does that work. Because we're going to mimic that functionality of how where's that explosive? Why do I not see it? Oh, okay. Okay. So what we do is, okay, here it is, right here. That's what we want. Right there. I'm just going to bookmark that. So let's jump to our other bookmark. Create that. So then we're going to place this here just temporarily. We'll comment it out. What am I doing? I keep pressing the wrong buttons. Okay. So what we do is we don't set is obstruction. We set allow pass through. I think it'll manage that for us. So really what we need to do is we need to just get the component from it. So this is where we would do the animation and stuff. So we play the animation stuff. So that would be our intro animation transition stuff that I was talking about earlier with the particle effect and whatnot. So we don't do this, and instead we do play intro animation of sorts. And then we do this. Of course, from this, this would replace that there. What is explosive default size? 444. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that size for now. Until we figure it out later. Because really, it should be the size of the object is what should determine its bounds. Because when you set the set size both, you're modifying them. So one is set size collider. And then the other one is set size trigger. Yeah. Let's see how that works. I'm curious to see if that breaks it or what happens at this point with this change that we've just made. So on create destructible, we should be able to test it without having to log in. Okay, so that is an obstruction. Okay, so where did we start though initially? No, let's just go into the game room. We'll test it. Let's see how this works. Okay, so what we need is the usable pickup block. I'll just move this over a bit more. We need a pickup block. Nope, not yet. Kind of looks like it's doing a double explosion. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we got one. So let's see what happens when we use it. Nope, immediately blocked me. Okay, we need more. Okay. It doesn't let me kind of walk through it, which is what I want. How can we... Oh, I don't have one. I was trying to use one and I don't have one. Okay, so there's another one. All right. Nope, can't do it. I need more latency to be able to properly do it. It's really difficult on a LAN when you have zero ping. It's very difficult to do. Nope. Just can't seem to do it. How can we test it? We could test it on the live site. Nope. Okay, well anyway, we can use it. The going through it thing though, that's a whole nother thing. What was that weird stutter there? Oh, it's all the outputs. Okay, it's the console that it's outputting so much to. Okay, give me more. Okay, so there's one in here. Nope, failed. There's another one. Ah, no, so it is pushing me out. Okay. So it is pushing me out. Okay, so that means it's not working. Okay. So if it's not working, then why is it not working? So what we wanted to do is check let's compare this again to here. So what is different? We said allow pass-through to be true. What about the colliders? What's their default state, I wonder? So let's have a look at that and see if maybe it's the default state of the colliders in the prefab. These are both active. Okay. I'm not sure. Because if they're both starting in the active state, yeah, so they're both starting in the active state. So then what would kind of, So what happens when we set allow pass-through? Allow pass-through calls this function calls merge to composite, which is not worded correctly. That's from 2D terminology. So it checks collider bounds enabled equals, oh, it could be going for the wrong collider. I could have the wrong collider in there. Let's check that. I think that's what I might be doing. That's why it's not working. Where are we? Okay, so one is to be trigger. And yeah, so they're wrong. Okay, so the trigger is supposed to be this one. This one is the trigger. This one is the bounds. Okay, so let's try that again. I think we should get different results this time. So let's see how that looks. It was a really easy mistake. It was obvious too, because I know I switched them, and then I forgot that there's still references looking at them. So let's go and try it. I have a feeling it'll work this time. Okay, so we'll end this round and just start the next one. Okay, so we're looking for a usable block again. Yeah, I see those weird glitches. I'm not sure exactly what is causing those, but I will need to solve those. There we go. Okay, so we got a block. Let's get some more before we try it. So I have a bunch I can just rapidly try. So we'll just clear the level, kind of. There's another one. Ooh, jelly bean. Okay, so we've got 2 we can test with, so let's try that. It went under me and I went over it. That's not what's supposed to happen. What is going on there? Like, how do I go over it? I can walk over it? That's not right. I think it's the collider positioning is off or something. So let's go and check that out. No, that seems fine. How do I? Ah, yes. Okay, so that one seems. Wait, what? That one versus this. How do I possibly walk over that? That's pretty inclined. That makes no sense. How does that work? How am I able to walk above that? There's no ramp. There's nothing. That makes no sense. That does not make any sense. I should not be able to walk over it. It's a steep object. There's no ramp. There's no incline to be able to walk over it. I don't get it. Let's try that again. I'm supposed to be able to walk through it, not over it. That doesn't make sense. Okay, let's test it a bunch of times. We'll figure it out. We always do. Okay, so we'll just wait for next round. Okay, so let's grab a bunch of objects, or not objects, usable blocks. So we need those gray blocks, and then we'll try it and see what we get. Oh, what? How did I get knocked out there? I don't know what happened there. I thought I was in a safe area, and then all of a sudden, poof, I was gone. I'm not sure what happened there. Something obviously happened. I'm just not sure what. Okay, so there's one. There's another one. So we got 2 so far. We want some more, of course. Okay, let's see what we get in terms of power-ups. Okay, so there's 2 more. Oh. Okay, so now we got 4. Let's test it out and see kind of what's going on there. All right, so right about here, yeah, see, that's so strange. I should not be able to walk over that. That makes no sense. Okay, let's try it. So I can't walk over it from this side, but I can walk over it on this side? That doesn't make sense. Oh, wait. Does the Shadowcaster have its collider active? That would make sense. Oh, no. I totally forgot about that. Let's go with the Shadowcaster. We'll just grab this one. Where's the Shadowcaster? Environment object. Yeah, there's our ramp. And there's the mesh collider. Oh, wow. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so that's what's happening. Is the collider on the Shadowcaster is active. That's what's giving us this ramp, which is, of course, I was so confused. I was like, what is going on here, right? So Shadowcasters, what we want is the cube block. Yeah, okay, so we don't want that. Actually, we don't want it on any of them. All of them have it active. Interesting. What we can do is we can disable it or remove it. Did I disable those? Yeah, I disabled those. So let's be consistent. We will just disable and not remove. Okay, just to make sure I got all of them. Okay, so I got them. Let's go and try that again. So easy to overlook a detail like that. Okay, so we'll change scene and we'll log in. Okay, and I'll grab my controller and wait for the next round. Okay, so let's see if it works this time. Okay, so we need a pickup object. All right, so we're looking for a gray cube. So far, nothing. Nope. Still nothing. Wow. Okay. Just not having much luck with it. Okay, there's 2 right there. So we got this one and this one. Okay, so let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so I can move through it. And then once I walk through it, collider becomes... Oh, nope, maybe not. Spoke too early. So I can walk through it, but it doesn't activate collider after I walk through it. Why is that? So let's go and select it. What we want it to do is check against the player. And it should activate this. So when we walk through it, this should be activated, so then we can't walk through it anymore. And that's not what's happening. Let's try another one. Okay, so we can walk through it. Okay, so it's not triggering. Okay. Let's look at it a bit more closely. So we have on the outermost, okay, so that's fine. The inner and the inhibitor, this one here, so this trigger is active. What we need it to do is, oh wait, we're missing something here. We're definitely missing something here. I totally forgot. There's no script attached to it. We have to attach a script to it. Otherwise, we can't listen in on those triggered events. So the event is firing or being dispatched, but we're not listening to it because we don't have this script attached to it. That's exactly what's going on. So we need to attach collider redispatch events. That's what's happening. Okay, so we'll go back to this. We need to add collider redispatch events. So this one is the trigger. So we need the trigger events. We need that, that, and that. And then they need to call this, this, and this. So in terms of function, we need to call the respective function. So this one is the trigger on enter. Oh, it's right there. So on trigger enter, on trigger exit, and on trigger stay. Okay, so that's that one. So we still need to do the other one. We need to go into the object that has it, which is this one. So we need to add this again. And then this time we're going for the collision event. And then we need to pass that into the same object. And then there will be a different set of functions for this one to call. So on collider enter, collider exit, and collider stay. Okay, that will fix it. I'm quite confident in that. Watch me another 2 hours and I'll be like, I almost got it. I almost got it. But you know, that's how it goes. Okay. This time though, I'm fairly confident we're much closer, let's just say. So let's see, where's my controller? Okay, so that is properly blocking us. So let's log in. Oops. Okay, we need next round. Let's KO one of these. And then we'll go into next round. Okay, let's see what happens now. So again, we're looking for pickup item of the gray block. I could probably get rid of this at this point. So now you can see the pickups that I pick up on the right-hand side. Okay, so we got one. Okay, I'd like at least another one. If we don't get one, that's fine. Not a big deal. There's my other one. Okay, so let's try it now. So if we use it, okay, so we could walk through, go out of it, and it blocks us. Perfect. That's exactly the behavior that I'm looking for. So you can go up to it, and you can place a new one, right? So you can walk through it. Oh, that time my timing was bad. But you can place it, and if you time it correctly, you can walk through it, which is by design, right? And then once you walk through it, others can, like, you can't walk through it again. And the same rule applies to other players, right? So we'll just wait for more power-ups. There we go, 2 more. Okay, so, nope, missed it. There we go. So we got it this time. And if I walk through it, collider activates. I can no longer walk through it anymore. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. So what I do want, oh, got 2 more. Nice. Oh, it's really difficult to do with 0 latency. When you're playing on the internet, over the internet, you have that extra like 100 milliseconds or whatever buffer that makes it a bit easier to do. But when you're playing on LAN, it's, yes, I got it that time. When you're playing on LAN, it's a lot more difficult to do. But anyway, so I'm content with that. I think that works. But we need, though, is a intro animation. Right now, it just appears, right? It's not that interesting. So let's make it interesting, right? The question is, though, how far do we want to take it, right? And I don't know if I have the time to do that visual aesthetic today. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do the prep work for the others, since we've already done this one, kind of. We can do the prep work for the others, meaning the other usable objects. And then we can... that'll give us a good head start on those. And then I'll work on the aesthetics later, I think is a better choice. Okay, so the next one we can do is, let's do shield. Shield is going to be an interesting one. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to keep shield 2D or if I'm going to make it 3D. Because if I do it 3D, I can do some really cool effects to it, like using shader graph and whatnot. Like we could do a what's that thing called? Like a lens kind of morph modification to it. So it could look pretty good, but then I don't know how well that would look in terms of how will we get it to look like the stylized pixelated look that we want. But that's something that I can figure out later. For right now, again, aesthetics should not take precedence. Wow, I'm just not getting any shields. Give me a shield. Oh, wow, nothing. Okay, fine. Yeah, see, they're not supposed to disappear like that. No shields at all. Wow, okay. So then popsicle. So same idea then with popsicle. We're using it, but we don't see it. But I want to do the shield next, though. So we'll wait for another pickup. I just want to make sure that it does kind of work, I guess. And when I did the build the other day and I put it on my Android, wow, no shields. Okay. That's not, statistically, that's quite improbable, but okay. When I did a build and I put it on my Android device, it actually looked pretty good, like visually. it looked really good. Like for pixel art kind of 2D game, it looks really good. And the 3D depth adds a whole nother level of enjoyment. Okay, so there's the shields. Okay, so we got 2 shields. So if I use a shield, okay, so it goes down by 1. And if I use it again, it goes down by 1. Okay, but it's not doing anything. So let's go have a look at that. Yeah, it looked really good visually on a mobile device. So I think it's going to be a really good looking game in terms of some nice artistic stylized stuff to it. Okay, so let's see. Do we need to do any of this stuff here? I don't think so. I don't think we need any of this. I'll just leave it there temporarily. But I don't think I need any of this stuff. No, I don't think I do. Okay, so we can take that out. All right, so the next one is shield. Where is shield? Okay, so we got pick up object and then destroyable. Nope, 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 nope. Where is shield? Okay, so it's not in here. Okay, we'll go into here. Shield. Am I... Oh, okay. That's why. Shield amount? No. I don't want shield amount. I want shield usage specifically. Shield activate is what we want. Okay, so let's see. Does anything use it? Okay, so it looks like we're using it here. I see. Okay, let's go with that. So it's inside of our model effects. Let's move that over here to this panel. Okay, so we got shield, activate, deactivate, frozen, defrost. Oh, right. Okay, of course. I put all of them here because they are directly affecting the character model. Okay. Okay, so if it is my user ID equals false, okay. Otherwise, animation property curve, shield. Okay. That looks good. So let's go to the model. Let's go to the character model. Where's the prefab for that? Models. Okay, so let's look at the effect stuff, and there's our shield. Okay, so shield will... Okay, so it's currently using or attempting to use a sprite renderer, which is of course not correct. What we want to do is make a whole class for it. I want to make a prefab out of it because we're going to be using different types of shields and different types of effects. And I want it to be versatile. I want it to be self-contained, and I want it to be modular so that we just call functions and it just does everything on its own. So let's go and create a class specifically for shield. Let's do that. So we'll go into our scripts. I guess it's going to be an effect. We'll call it an effect for now. So create C#, we'll call it effect shield. Okay, I don't actually think I need start and update really. So let's just get rid of those for now. It will extend for mono behavior. Yes, it absolutely will. I think that's it for now for a base start. So let's go and let's go back over here and we'll rename this to be effect shield. We will remove the sprite renderer. Animation property group will definitely remain. So let's go and add effect shield. Okay, so shield is going to, it's either going to be 2D or it's going to be 3D. I'm not going to get into 3D at this time. It's a bit more complicated because then that would mean I need to do shaders and that kind of stuff. So let's keep it 2D for now. Because I already have the asset too. Oh, right. But the asset is not going to look good because you can't do proper transparencies or varying transparencies on a quad with the texture. It's either transparent or it's not on a per pixel basis. So that's going to be an interesting challenge. Either way, I will use the graphic that I had before. It's not going to look great. So that means we'll have to go 3D. Or maybe we don't. I don't know. Because I could fake it. I could make it into 2 layers, 2 quads, one in front of the other, one having a back image, one having a front image, and it could look 3D. For all intents and purposes, it could look 3D, but it just wouldn't have those nice transparencies that I would like for it to have. That's really the main thing. So that means I'm going to end up doing a 3D shield. But not now. For now, we're going to go 2D. Okay, and what we're going to use is our... So if we go back to 2.5T, we're going to use our dynamic quad. Yeah, we're going to use our dynamic quad. Position-wise, I don't think it matters on the XYZ, but what I do want to do is scale will be 111. We'll modify it by script, of course. So shield needs a reference to dynamic quad. So we'll say serialized field, dynamic quad, and it'll be, let's just call it exactly what it is, dynamic quad. So then we have a reference to it. Okay, so the sprite render we're not going to be using. We can just remove that. That's just not going to be used, period. Let's bump this up just so it's above the other one, and we'll collapse that for now because we're not really using it yet. Okay, so what else do we need? we need the texture that it's going to load. I don't think I exported that. So let's have a look at our atlas real quick. Where's our atlas? Okay, I don't see shield, but I do see this circle. We could use that as our shield. We could totally use that as our shield. I just don't know how big it is. I guess it doesn't really matter. But what is that object, though? I think that was the shockwave for the explosion. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was the shockwave for the explosion. Let's see if I can find it. Nope, definitely not that. Effects, maybe? There it is. Okay, so how big is this thing? 64 by 64? Actually, I think that's perfect. So that's going to be our shield. We'll use it both for the shield and for the explosion for now. Okay, so we just need this name. Okay, so for shield, let's make another serialized field, private string, and this will be the shield texture. So we'll use that texture because we're going to push it dynamically through code, so you can just easily just swap it out at any time, right? So then from here, you can just change the whatever texture you want just by providing the name, and it'll pull it out of the texture atlas or the sprite atlas. I actually did a video on that. I did a video on that explaining how to use the Unity sprite atlas in the same way and use it like a texture atlas for 3D objects and 2D objects and particle effects. So all of it can just be one atlas, which is really awesome. I like that usability. But of course, that atlas can get really big. So you'd want to break it up at some point. At what point? I don't know. Because right now, my atlas size, so let's have a look at that and see. The atlas size that we're currently at is 512 by 1024, and it's still got a lot more room. Like, look at that. It's still got quite a bit room, and I got some UI stuff in there that's taking up a good chunk of it. If you take all of this UI stuff out and separate it out and put it on its own atlas, right, at some point, then you'd get a lot more space for like actual graphics and whatnot. And even still, like this is 512 by 1024. That means you could get twice bigger than this, and it would still only be 1024 by 1024. Currently, my max size is 2048, so I'm using a quarter. I can't do math right now. A quarter, I think, of what I could. No, an eighth of the size of a 2048. So I could have 8 times more stuff in there, and it's only at 2048 by 2048. Imagine 4096 or 8192. I think some older devices might not support these larger ones, but that's why I have older devices, which I'm going to be testing on. So if I can push it to this 8192, I'll do it. I don't care if it takes a little bit extra to do your initial load. But once you do your initial load, the performance you would get from having everything in one texture atlas versus multiple different sprites and textures, you would reduce your draw calls and you just get really good performance out of it. But I mean, that's later on. For right now, I'm not even close to reaching 2048. So it's not even on my radar. But I really like the way that the texture atlas works either way. I like being able to just pull stuff, like use it as a centralized location. And it also prevents you from having duplicate names, right? Because it'll give you a warning and say that you can't do that. And then you're like, oh, yeah, wait, I need to follow a naming structure, right? And any object, any graphic can become a part of your texture atlas. So you can just keep throwing sprites in there, and it's really cool. I like it. I really like it. I think they did a great job in implementing it. I think they need to take it a step further, so you don't need to do this whole extraction method that I used in my YouTube video to demonstrate how you can use a sprite and change or get the texture out of a sprite, out of a texture atlas, to be able to use it as a texture for a material for a quad. You shouldn't need to have to do that. It should just be a simple, here, use this, done. But it's not quite there yet. Maybe their version 2 or something will have that kind of functionality, which will be nice. But we'll see. We'll see when we get to that point. For right now, I'm still quite pleased with it in the way that it works and whatnot. Okay, so we're starting to run a bit low on time. So let's see if I can get this working. So if we were to run this initially, what I wanted to do is I wanted to push this texture onto the dynamic quad. So our dynamic quad will take pretty much anything. So let's go on start, actually. We'll use the on start to push it to the dynamic quad dot it was supposed to, where's that? Yeah, load texture. There we go. Okay, so we just want to pass in shield texture. And it should auto load that for us. So we should be able to see it very easily. Okay, so there's our shield texture. Of course, it needs to be scaled, because right now it's flat because of our camera angle of perspective. It's not. It appears to not be scaling correctly. So what we need to do is change its angle of perspective. Yeah, we need to change its angle of perspective. So let's go back to that. Model, character model. So we need to change the angle of perspective. Probably, let's zero that out for now. So on the Y, it needs to be, I think, 1.71425 or something. I will grab it out of one of these that has it. Yeah, 1.74125, and we will apply it to here for now. Okay. Now it should look more, it should look circular. And then we'll go in and we'll tweak the size and see what size it kind of needs to be at. Okay, so there it is, circular. Of course, it looks correct on this side. On this side, you'd have to kind of get the camera at the right angle. Okay, but anyway, so that's our shield. It'll look much nicer later. It is centered, which is correct. So let's go in and, oh wait, why did it go to 64 by 64? Right, because that's what the graphic size was. Okay, that's fine. So let's bump it up to 1. Okay. Yeah, so that's our shield. At 1, it's a bit too big. So let's go and kind of bring it down a little bit. Pretty sure I was going down. So about here. .7. Let's go with 0.8. Okay. So at 0.8, it kind of looks like a bubble around our character. I don't want it to be too big, but I don't want it to be too small either. I think I might want to move it down a tiny bit. So if we were to move it down, no, we'll leave it. So we want it to be at 0.8. So when we set that for now, is there a scale or size I meant? Texture size, width, height. Okay, so that's only for reading. I want to resize. I want it to have that functionality so I don't have to yeah, okay, we'll just make one. So it'll be a public float, set size, XYZ. Vector 3. Size, wait, why is it public float? It should be public void. Okay, I need to adjust the brightness just a little bit. The sun's going down. Screens are a bit too bright for me. My eyes get very sensitive near end of night. I mean, like, really sensitive. So that's better. Okay, so set size. When we call this function, what we want it to do is change the size of the current object. So we want it to be this dot game object dot transform dot local scale equals size. That's all we want. So what we want is to set size XYZ. And let's make this another serialized field. So it'll be private vector 3 underscore texture size equals new vector 3. By default, it'll be 1F, 1F, 1F. This one we will rename that to texture shield to be consistent. And then we'll pass in texture size. Okay, so when we run it, it should automatically change the texture, and then it should change the size alongside with it. So we should have the exact size that it should have. Okay, and there's our shield at the correct size, I believe. Nope, it's at 111. Right, of course. We're going to change that to 0.8. So let's go to character model, dynamic quad, shield, and we're going to change this to 0.8, 0.8, 0.8. Okay, so that looks more correct in terms of size. Okay, so there's our shield. Okay, so then now we need the shield to be inactive initially. And then what we want is for it to be activated at the appropriate time and then deactivated at the appropriate time. So this whole animation curve thing, that's not gonna exist at this point. Okay, so at this point, all we want to do is tell the shield game object set active, true. That's it. And then on deactivate, same idea. We'll take out the old animation code. And from true, we will change that to a false. Yeah, the animation stuff we'll add later on. I just wanted to show up at the right time and disappear at the right time. The animation and the visual aesthetics, we'll get to that later. So I'll just grab my controller and let's log in and go pick up some objects and see if we can get the shield to come up, hopefully at the appropriate time, and go away at the right time. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so now we're looking for shields to pick up. There's one. Okay, so if I activate my shield, nothing. Awesome. Okay. So that wasn't correct. So what happened there? So when we go to here, effects, oh, I don't remember this logic at all. What is this? Oh, I see. Huh. I totally forgot about this logic. So I'll need to look at that and see how that works and how I can use it. Okay, so we got list model effects. What are model effects and how do we use them? Model effects, destroy, clear. Okay. What does it mean? I don't understand. And then it uses a recycling system? I don't think so. This must be old code. Oh, it just deactivates it. It doesn't actually use the object pool system. Okay. That makes a bit more sense, I guess. How does it work, though? Okay, so we have a list. We add to the list. On start, it goes and sets the parent, calls construct. What is this class? Oh, I see. It's a class within the class. Okay. And then, right. Okay. Got it. So this one has then effect character shield and then this. Okay, so that's what I need to do. So what I need to do is add shield and then set the game object and then duration. Interesting. Is duration used? No, because we disabled it. So duration is not currently used. Okay, I mean, it's not a bad system. I just totally forgot about it. I'll need to refresh my memory to see how I can use it and if I want to use that system or if I want to implement something differently. But I think it has some merit. So let's give it a chance before I throw away a system that I put thought and effort into and then later completely forgot. So again, same idea. We will wait for the next round, and then we will we'll see about picking up a shield. Is it just me, or do the explosions seem to be going through the environment objects? Yeah, they are going through. Okay, so that something I did there must have messed something up. Right, I disabled obstruction. We need obstruction active for, okay. All right, so we have some shields. Let's see if I can use one. Nope, nothing happened. Let's try it again. Nothing. Okay, so it did nothing. Okay, so that did nothing. Why didn't it do anything though? Okay, so on shield activate, it checks parent get type not equal. I have no idea why that's there, but okay. Effect type, it checks if it's shield. So it outputs something. Let's see if we got any outputs. Handle shield activate. And it is of type game engine. So I should be able to get rid of all the other stuff. Okay. So shield deactivate and shield activate. So it is being called. What it's failing on is effects game object. I think that's where I'm making a mistake. Effects game object. No, it should be effects object. I don't know. Yeah, it should be effects object. It is the game object. So if we just say effects object dot set active true, it could be failing at this point where it checks is my user ID. So let's have a look at that. Parent model, iModel. Okay, so it's using the iModel data reference. Yeah, I'm not sure. Something is causing it to fail. Oh, the timer could be it too. Maybe it's because we're not using the timer. Could that be it? I don't think so, because we're not activating the coroutine. I don't know why I did it this way. I can't remember the details, but anyway, I don't think I can realistically solve this right now, even though it shouldn't be difficult. It should actually be quite easy to solve. I'm just not in the right state of mind. I think some good rest, and I'll be able to probably solve this tomorrow. But still, I'm pleased with the results that we got so far. So we got the collider working, and we're on our way to getting the rest of them working. So there's still some more stuff that needs to be figured out, of course, and we'll figure it out over time. But yeah, so this is definitely starting to become playable, almost. And we'll get to that point. I'll invite some community members, likely as some viewers, if you guys want to jump in as well and help do some benchmarking and play a few games in the game room and see how it performs on both Windows and Android, because it is cross-platform, and on the various input devices, because I haven't tested touchscreen in a little while now. But we'll figure it out. Either way, I think it's good progress. It's just a matter of time until we figure out the rest of it. Oh, and I did so I did upload a YouTube video, my very first tutorial video, which is this one over here, where I go in and I explain how to use a texture atlas. Or use the Unity Sprite Atlas as a texture atlas, the same way that I'm using it in this project. Because when I initially went searching for that, I saw people are coming up with their own solutions that did not meet my requirements. And I don't know if they're aware of it or not, those individuals, or maybe they had specific criteria of why they couldn't use the Unity Sprite Atlas as a texture atlas. So I made a tutorial about it just because I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. So I had to find the solution out for myself. And in the end, I just decided to share that information with whomever that's interested. It's not something that many people are going to find useful, but for those who do want it, it's an invaluable piece of information to have. And I think it's a pretty good tutorial. The audio, I don't know why, but the audio ended up being terrible. I don't know why. Like when I was viewing or listening to the audio in DaVinci, it was fine. But then when I did an export, I didn't really think about it, and I uploaded it to YouTube, and I didn't think about it. But then after watching it, I was like, wait, the audio doesn't sound right. There's weird artifacts and like a cutout point at like 5 minutes in or something. I don't know why. I've never experienced that before. I'm sure it's something that I did wrong, but it's something that I need to learn. So if you guys know what that may be, let me know. I don't think I'll modify that video, but for future videos, because I would like to periodically, not on a regular basis, but periodically make a video, a tutorial video. I think it's good to share this kind of information with others, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway. So that's pretty much going to be it for me today. So for those of you that are here, thank you for watching. For those of you that that'll be maybe watching on YouTube later, feel free to drop a comment, drop an emoji, hit that like button. It helps with discoverability and building up awareness of the project and what it is that I'm doing and what it is I'm trying to share here with the community members. And of course, you're welcome to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, join Discord if you want to be with the community, the players. It's not so much really about development, but that's going to be it for me today. So thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll see you in the next broadcast, which will be on Friday. Bye.